All right, folks, it is 3:31. And so we'll go ahead and get started. I do want to keep this to about 30 minutes, and I appreciate everybody joining us today. This is our second round of the Tour to LSC. And so thank you for joining individually. And I see some groups like Trinity Oaks, and I see Trinity Elms and Grove and Glen. So glad y'all could join as groups. So it's good to see everybody. So thanks for joining. You know, we try to always start our meetings with prayer. So why don't we do that right now? So let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the blessings of this day and the opportunities that you give to us each and every day, and especially now to serve through Lutheran Services Carolinas. Be with each saint that's on this phone today, that we together are doing your will through Lutheran Services. Be with all those that we touch, our residents and clients, and all of our teammates all over this organization. Help us to each and every day to do your will, not ours. We ask in his name. Amen. All righty. I am going to try to share my screen, and I'm not really good at this, so y'all just bear with me. Jeffrey, I see your picture up in my corner. Can you see my screen? If you'll give me the thumbs up or say yes.
Yes, sir.
All right, we got it. We at least got that far anyway. And so I'm just going to run through our little slideshow here, and I've been doing this tour to LSC for a number of years. I'm sorry we're not in person again this year, but you know, it just seemed like even though the COVID numbers are going down, especially you know, bringing people all together to one place just still didn't seem smart this year. So we decided to go virtual one more year, and I hope next year we can be back out and in person, because there's nothing like it. And you know, we've done this for a number of years, and it's as much maybe more for me than it is for you, but it's an opportunity for me to get out there and see you all closer to your work anyway. But I'll look forward to doing that again, hopefully next year. But it gives us a time to kind of have a little State of the Union discussion about what's going on across Lutheran Services Carolinas. And then I always like to share some of our financial results from the last year, which we just got our audit finished up, so I can give you the latest and greatest there. So let's just walk through these slides right quick. You know, a lot of what you'll see right here at the beginning are pictures, because truly a picture is worth 1,000 words, just to show you the abundant living that you all provide across this organization for all the different kinds of people that we serve in all the different programs and communities where we serve. And these are just some fun pictures that shows the life of the people that we're involved with each and every day. You know, I still say our secret sauce is the LSC way. It's our mission, our vision, and our values. You know, our mission has been the same for a number of years now. We put that together, gosh, about 12, 13 years ago now. But empowered by Christ, we walk together with all we serve. And I think our vision statement from John 10:10 has been the same since about 1960, when we were founded. And that's, I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. You know, we want abundant living for everybody that we serve, however we serve them. And we want that for each other, for all of our teammates also. And then, of course, our values, and I hope you remember these and find a way to memorize them, and not just to memorize them, but to live them. But faith, integrity, respect, excellence, compassion, collaboration. And just this past year, we added justice as a 7th value, just to bring a little bit more highlight to the importance of that work to this organization. And, you know, I tell people all the time, you don't have to be Lutheran to be served by Lutheran Services or to work for Lutheran Services. We're here for everybody that needs us, and for all those that want to want to work for a ministry, for an organization like this, a nonprofit. And but we are unapologetically a Christian sponsored organization, a Lutheran sponsored organization, and again, that's where our that's where a lot of our background comes from, with our mission, vision, and values, and it's kind of been our due north for all of us. And again, it's so great to me, and I think you would all agree, to work for an organization that's focused on such a strong mission and vision and values. It's not about putting money in somebody's pocket, in stockholders' pockets or an owner. It's about doing ministry across North and South Carolina. And again, just some more pictures, to show you all the different ways that we serve and the different populations, and not even all of them, but some of the different populations that we serve, and the abundant life and the fun that we can have across this organization. Even though it's hard work in everything that we do every day, we can still have some fun and know that we're providing abundant life for so many different people. And you can see some great pictures, and the smiles are worth it all. And I have to point out the fishermen down there at Trinity Place in Albemarle. I don't know, they seem to major in fun, and are so innovative in the ways they do it. And again, not for themselves, but for the residents that they serve. Just a little bit by the numbers, we serve in so many different ways, from foster care to nursing homes and everything in between. But you can see, 2,500 individuals and families served through child and family programs. You see our over almost 3,000 donors, almost 400,000 days of residential care provided to seniors, all of our volunteer hours. Everybody on this call is certainly a member of the LSC family, but that family also includes all the residents and clients that we serve. It covers all of our donors, our volunteers. Everybody is a member of the family, and we frankly couldn't do it without the whole family. 129 families served through the disaster services team. We've got 3,600 advocates that we can call on to write a letter to Congress or to write the state legislature when we need bills passed. Unaccompanied children that we serve, veterans, people that are coming to the United States through our New Americans program, our refugee programs, helping with adoptions, helping families with adoptions. I saw Sarah. Yep, there's Sarah Ramsey's name on my computer. 183 individuals served through our Strengthening Families program that she worked so hard on. The adoption program, our special needs adoption program, 40 different people served, 5,200 lives improved. And that's just the people that you touch every day. That doesn't even include all the family members and the regulators and the states that we represent and the churches that we represent and the churches that our clients and residents belong to. It's a large family when you add and you think about the impact that you have across both North and South Carolina. I also wanted to cut this another way, and that's just, I asked our team to list every major service that we provide by total revenue, so that you can see the total revenue by organization or by parts of our organization and how that all fits together. So for instance, the largest thing, the largest budgeted item we have is for our skilled nursing units. Those are those big nursing homes across North Carolina. You can see next, probably in size, would be our pharmacy and our independent living services. And then some of our smaller services like adoptions, or the unaccompanied children's program. Those are smaller programs. Now, that doesn't mean they're less important or more important. It just means that way you can see where the money comes from all across this organization and how big those programs are. So it's important to really see the whole picture and to see how vast the picture is of all the things that you do across, again, across both Carolinas. One of the things that I have tried to do is always spend a little time on the financials. And this is not the most fun part, I realize, but again, we've always felt like every teammate, and there are now over 1,800 of us, every teammate ought to know the financial condition of the organization. And some years have been better than others, but I always like to explain it to you. And I also like to explain that we just got our audit approved. Our auditors, our outside independent auditors, came to our board of directors and shared with them these results. So it's not just our numbers, it's the numbers from the independent auditors that then we share with all the regulators and the banks and everybody else that needs that information. So again, just a quick review of this. On the senior services side this year, we had about $130 million in revenue, a little over. And then we had about $124 million in expenses. And this, on paper, it looks like one of the best years we've had in a long time. Matter of fact, probably as long as I can remember, because you end up with about a $6 million operating income between revenue and expense. And then we also get contributions, and they came in at about $242,000. And so when you add those two together, we've got about $6.5 million in money left over, if you will, at the end of the year. Now, I wish that was all money that we could say is ours, that we can just split amongst ourselves and move on. Unfortunately, like always, it doesn't work that way. A lot of that money, this year we were able to get some money, some extra COVID funding from the federal government and from state government through the Medicaid and Medicare program and some other programs through the government. But the problem is they gave it to us all at once, but it's got to last a long time. And as you well know, COVID is not even over yet, even though we'd like to think it is, but COVID's not even over yet. It's probably going to take us as long to dig out of COVID as it took us to dig into COVID. And so the money that we got and booked last year is still going to have to survive the next year or two to help us to make ends meet over the next couple of years. And that doesn't even include, on the senior side especially, all of the capital expenses because our operating budget doesn't include capital expenditures, all the deferred maintenance. We couldn't do a lot of things in our buildings like renovation type work, major projects, because of COVID, because workers couldn't be in our buildings. So we've got a lot of deferred maintenance costs and capital costs that we're going to be using some of that money for also. So while it looks good on the books, unfortunately, it's already spoken for, and all the different things that we're going to be using it for to come out of COVID hopefully over the next couple of years. COVID's probably never going away. It's probably going to become like the flu shot. That's what everybody seems to be saying. The flu, it'll always be with us, but we'll have at least an immunization or a shot to take to get us past it. On the seniors, the child and family side, a very similar story. We had about a little over $23 million in revenue. We had $23.8 million in expenses. So we ended up with an operating loss of $529,000. Now, on the child and family side, that is not unusual. We've always said that we have to have unrestricted contributions to get us through from one year to the next. because everything that we do on the child and family side basically is government funded. So obviously that unrestricted contributions has to cover that over $500,000 loss. Also, unrestricted contributions can be a couple different things. There's almost $1 million worth of donated products that we were given mainly for COVID use, and no, not just COVID use, but for underpads that were donated to us to be used in all across the whole organization. So that's not cash. That's a donation of goods, and that's included in that number too. So it kind of makes the child and family side numbers look inflated when that's really almost $1 million worth of underpads. That's definitely not cash. I saw some of you were getting your T-shirts today. I saw those handed out as we were getting started, and again, I just want to talk briefly about back to that mission, vision, and values that LSC lights the way, and that's a play on the LSC way, and each of you is so important to lighting the way for each other and for all of our clients and residents across the two states. And I thank you for leaning into that work to light the way for so many. And lighting the way for so many sets us up for the future. And I wanted to talk for a few minutes about our future and what we've got on our plate in the years to come. Our biggest problem today, and it has changed over the years, but our biggest problem today is certainly workforce recruitment and retention. There are plenty of jobs out there, and so trying to recruit and retain great workers like you all is important to us each and every day. So we're spending more time on advocacy than ever before. And advocacy is really around advocating in Washington, D.C. and in our state capitals for the funds that we need, because we use mostly government funding, but we need adequate funding so that we can continue to be viable, and so we can continue to pay the salaries across the organization to be competitive, or to try to be, at least get close to be competitive. And then if we can do that and be a good place to work, to be good leaders and good supervisors, and of help to each other as teammates, then we can continue to make this ministry work the way it should. But we're spending more and more time on advocacy. I wrote a letter to the governor just yesterday, explaining to him once again how important it was that we receive adequate government funding to continue to be able to pay a living wage to everybody that works for us, and to provide the benefits that folks need, and to cover all these added costs. Everything, as you well know, when you go to the grocery store and the gas station, everything is going up, and that goes up for Lutheran Services also. The gas for our vans and the groceries to feed our clients and residents, all that's going up like it is for each of us individually. That's why we continue to spend more time on the LSC way and leadership development training across the organization. And we want to continue to up our game there, again, to make us better leaders and better supervisors to do the job better. Some of the things that we've got on the plate for the coming year: Trinity Landing is the largest project we've ever undertaken. That's about $100 million project. That's the retirement center down at Wilmington that will open probably. We probably will take some residents as early as May or June of this year, so coming right up, and then have the whole place open by about September of this year. And that will be an exciting day for Lutheran Services. That's 208 retirement apartments in Wilmington, on a beautiful site. And so it will serve probably about 350 people. We'll have probably about 75 or 85 new teammates that will work in that ministry, that part of our ministry. And the other thing is, and I've mentioned this the last couple of years, but it's part of our strategic plan, that facility will be one of the few places that we serve that uses private funds, that's not government funded. And that will hopefully help pay for a lot of the other things that we do, some of the things that we're most passionate about in caring for people, because it should turn off a little bit of surplus that can help keep the rest of us going, and that's part of the plan. Our New Americans program, our refugee services program, is growing tremendously. You know, for years we've served out of Columbia, South Carolina, and Raleigh, North Carolina. But now we just got permission and have opened offices in Charleston, South Carolina, in Greenville, South Carolina, and in Asheville, North Carolina. So now we have 5 sites, just finished resettling about 740 Afghan refugees who are now safe and secure and starting a new life thanks to you, thanks to Lutheran Services. And now we're just, now that those are settled, we'll start getting back to regular refugee resettlement in hopefully in all 5 of those sites also. And we may even have a chance to grow that even more over the next couple of years. Foster care, we continue to do great work there and are growing our foster care program, including in Asheville. You know, Asheville all of a sudden is a place where we've got lots of opportunity, but we are growing in that area too, and expanding foster care into that area also. We hope to do another independent living community in Hickory. We're drawing plans now. It won't be anything like Trinity Landing at Wilmington. It'll be more of a rental retirement community product. But we've got 2 big nursing homes in Hickory and hope to be able to add some independent living to support them and that they can support each other. Our host homes programs are continuing to grow, and we see that. And that, pardon me for making this basic enough that I can understand it. That's what y'all have had to do for me. But it's basically a foster home for an adult with developmental disabilities, and that program has been very successful. We hope to grow that more in the future. There are a lot of other areas for growth, from traumatic brain injury to developmental disabilities. We will continue to grow in lots of different ways and are always looking for those growth opportunities. And I, again, would encourage you to keep your eyes open for opportunities there too, where Lutheran Services can continue to grow. You know, we really do have to continue to grow. You can't just be sitting. It would be nice to just take a breath and take a year off, but the world doesn't stop turning, and we can't stop turning either. So we got to continue to grow with the world, and that means new programs and more strength to keep us all doing the work that we're so passionate about. And I briefly mentioned, but we'll say again, renovations. You know, we've got to keep up the buildings that we've already gotten. We've replaced some of our big skilled nursing facilities. We're adding some new ones, but for instance, Albemarle just finished a $2 million interior renovation that was desperately needed. Trinity Oaks Health and Rehab, which was built in 1976. We've been doing a number of rehab projects there and have one on the plate now that'll be probably about $1.2 million that we hope to kick off in about April. So there's just, but we've got to, for the folks that live there, we've got to keep those buildings up and in good working order also. And now I will try desperately to stop sharing my screen. Let me see if I can figure out how to do this. There we go. and we have just a couple of minutes. I don't know if anybody has had an opportunity to add a question. I see a couple of comments. Sybil, I appreciate, thank you for adding. Said, I agree, I love the mission. You know, that I think that's one of the things that sets us apart as an employer. And that's why we spend so much time talking about it like today, because I think it's important for all of us. We've got, again, just a couple of minutes left, so I will just open the floor. If anybody has a question or comment, I'm happy to try to answer them, or at least get back to you. Anything from anybody?
Hey, this is Sybil Ovak Raynar, and yep. I ask the same question every year, so I feel like, you know, it's time to ask it again. I work in mental health. What is the probability of Lutheran doing anything else with mental health? I love mental health. I know there's barely any funding, but yeah, do you guys have anything maybe you're going to be doing for mental health in the next 2 years, 3 years, 5, or 10?
Very good.
I ask the same question every year.
Yep, and I appreciate that, and you should. You know, we are just, as a matter of fact, on April 6th, our senior leadership team is going to be meeting April 6th and 7th, and we're going to be doing our annual, part of that is our strategic planning process. Now, we don't go out 10 years, simple. Things move so fast, we figure if we can get out anywhere from 1 to 3 years, that's about as far as you can see into the future based on funding and the way the world is changing so quickly. But I would encourage you to reach out to your supervisor if you have any ideas. One of the things that I think we're going to talk about is possibility of at least a little bit of funding to fund new projects. And so you know, seed money to get things off the ground. So if you've got an idea on how we might be able to grow mental health services, I'm certainly happy to hear it. I agree with you. Sadly, in not just in the Carolinas, but across the country, there's just not enough funding for mental health services. But we're always looking for opportunity, and so I would encourage you to reach out to your supervisor with any ideas. Sarah Ramsey asked if about helping to resettle Ukrainian refugees. You know, we're all watching that very carefully, and Lutheran Immigration and Refugee Services is our national organization that kind of keeps a pulse on things that are going on nationally. I think there's very definitely going to be Ukrainian refugees. Matter of fact, there are already a few under one program that are starting to come into the country, but that's a trickle. But I think just like with the Afghanistan situation, and probably more so, you know, there's already like 3 million refugees that have fled Ukraine into the neighboring countries. Now, it takes the United States, as you well know, we are slow, but it takes the United States, you know, 6 months to a year to gear up. But I think within the next, maybe a little sooner than that, but probably within the next 6 months to a year, we will see a larger and steady stream of Ukrainian refugees coming into our country, and we'll get our share of those into the Carolinas. So be looking for that. We've already told LIRS that we're ready, and especially I'm hoping we're going to get a chance to open maybe another couple of offices in the Carolinas, at least one more in North Carolina and one more in South Carolina. So we would be well prepared to resettle some Ukrainian refugees, along with all the other refugees from around the world that desperately need and have kind of been waiting on their turn too. So thank you for mentioning that. I would not have thought to mention that. We are right at the 30-minute mark, which is where I promised to be. respectful of your time, but just y'all know where I'm at. I can't hide even if I wanted to, and I don't want to. So I'm always available, for an email or a comment, or talk to your supervisor if you've got an issue. But again, I just can't say enough. Thank you for all that you do, not for Lutheran Services, but for the people that we serve, because that's what makes us different. And it takes everybody on this call to make that happen, whether you're in a back office and never get to see one of those residents or clients, or whether you're on the front line. It takes all of us to make it work, or we couldn't do this great work. So thank you again, and I hope you have a good rest of the day, and you know where I'm at if you need me. Thank y'all very much.